You are now watching Believe. Do you believe?
We're back, baby. It's the Charity Stripe. Pitch your free throws because they are free. Joshua Fisher, Alexander, tossing the rock to Sopless, DJ, Nikki, Snacks, Kreider. What a week of sports. Toss, your Cowboys beat the defending champs with your backup quarterback. The defense is incredible, maybe the best in the league. We'll get into that. Nick, your Padres go to Citi Field and despite losing game 2, absolutely dominate in games 1 and 3. We'll get to that. My Patriots with the future Tom Brady at home versus the number 1 offense based on just points, not actual people on the roster. In football, we shut them out. And collectively, our Texas Longhorns pitch a shutout for the first time. Literally, you know what? The Longhorns pitched a shutout for the first time since Nam. So there you go.
Against OU.
Against OU. Yeah, I can finally state that.
Literally since Nam.
For the first time that's actually worked. Literally since Nam. 65. LBJ. Okay. We're brought to you by betonline.ag. Go to betonline.ag today. Use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV. Get 50% off your welcome bonus. You can bet on Bijan Robinson winning the Heisman. You can bet on Nikki's Padres to win the whole shebang. You could bet on Toss's Cowboys to win the whole shebang. You could bet on our Longhorns to win the Big 12. You could bet on the Patriots, probably a game-by-game basis, but I would kind of stop it there. And Nick, I'm sorry to snoot you, but your Chargers also got a win this weekend, despite Brandon Staley rolling the dice once again unnecessarily. We have a couple, because we're going to break. This is our national radio show for those listening to the podcast. We're going to break in a couple seconds. Yay or nay, how was everyone's fantasy football week? Nick, I'll start with you.
I was 50. No, I'm nay.
Nay?
I was nay. I'm in 4 leagues, but it's a nay for me because I thought I was going to be more successful.
It's a yay for me, dog.
Yay for, did you go 5-0 again?
No, I lost in 2 of my leagues, but 3-2. So it's a positive.
Positive.
2-2.
Okay, that's so solid. It's a yay for me. We're the Charity Stripe. Joshua Fisher, Alexander, tossing the rock to Sopless, DJ, Nikki, Snacks, Kreider. See ya in just a hot second. I did the trifecta. I did 5-0, and I won the week where I could win the week in my thing. It's kind of badass. Huge, because Kelsey Mahomes. Shout out to their families. Okay, 12:50. Hello, Governor. It's Charity Stripe. Hit your free throws because they are free. Joshua Fisher, Alexander Tisopoulos, DJ, Nikki, Snacks, Kreider. Guys, let's start in the AFC West. We'll go division by division. We're always playing around how we recap our football. Last week was a lot of fun, but I felt there was more fun in studio right now on the StreamYard. So we're just going to go division by division. Nick, I want to start in your division because that was the division where everyone was putting their juice, the best division in football on paper. Right now, we have the Chiefs, who some people, I guess, were like, they're going to take a step back. But I feel like our collective group was like, they're going to be just fine, which they are. The Raiders, who literally seemed like your Chargers last year, our Longhorns last year, where they're losing games left, right, front, and center, but by small margins. The Chargers, who we should definitely discuss. And the Denver Broncos, who might be the most disappointing team in football. What's probably the biggest surprise for you guys so far in this division?
I mean, I thought that the Broncos would be a little more dangerous, but I'm not surprised that they're not. Look, I mean, their record isn't terrible, but they're just not blowing people away. And I think that I honestly think they're the worst team in the division. I think the Raiders' record doesn't necessarily reflect how good they are as a team. A lot of it is coaching errors and just bad breaks. You had mentioned a little bit ago that the Chargers got away with one in the Browns despite Brandon Staley's dumb coaching decision. And to be honest, there's been a lot of crazy coaching decisions across the league that have cost guys games. Harbaugh doing it for the Ravens a couple weeks ago, choosing not to take the points, choosing to go for it. And just
Not
in the
good.
game on Monday night, where the Raiders, chose to go for 2 instead of tie it up and don't get it and end up losing by 1. So
after the Chiefs went for 2 when they were already up 7, if they had just kicked an extra point, they would have been up 8.
exactly. So I like gutsy calls every now and then, but sometimes these coaches just need to play the right way.
Yeah, don't we all? Like, I feel like the three of us, by and large, all prefer. Like, I feel like every time someone else,
I feel like I'm watching
room,
Madden. That's what I feel like these days.
It's too gutsy for me, and I'm a gutsy call kind of guy. Like, I've been there, and I'm like, go for it, go. I've been before going for it was like cool. I've been like that, but this has gotten like haphazard and out of hand. Is like this is an analytic thing. I just don't understand it. Toss, what's like a big surprise for you, man?
In this division, I mean, I agree with everything that Nick said.
Yeah.
To me, I would say that going into the season, we were looking at the quarterbacks in this division and we were looking at the pass rushers. And while Patrick Mahomes has not lost a step, I don't think that the pass rushers collectively in this division have been as dominant as I expected them to be. Not to say that they're underperforming, because Khalil Mack got off to a really hot start. Obviously Bosa got banged up a little bit, but he's been playing really, really well. Crosby does what he does, but it just hasn't been the same kind of impact that I expected it to be, where it was going to be dominance, multi-sack games every single game, quarterbacks putting up 30 plus points, throwing for 350 plus yards, 3 touchdowns. Like, obviously Russ has not done that. I think Mahomes has done that and then some. Herbert, I know he's probably still dealing with the rib injury.
Definitely
has underperformed from a fantasy perspective. To me, I expected him to be kind of a front runner for MVP. He's doing enough for his team to win these games. But all in all, I think just a bit of disappointment collectively from the division. And then the Raiders, their time will come. They're a good team. They're just not as good as the Chargers, and they're not as good as the Chiefs. And unfortunately, my biggest concern has been the defense for the Chargers. That's been like, out of all of the teams in this division, what I've really honed in the most on is that they're letting teams score on them. And this is a great defensive roster with a defensive minded head coach. And to me, it's a defensive failure for this team thus far through 5 games. And it needs to be turned around.
I agree.
Nice. Okay, that's a nice take. I
think Staley would be better off being the defensive coordinator of the Chargers these days than the head coach.
That is a scorcher of a take. I'll keep it in the Chargers wheelhouse. The big disappointment is like I hate injuries. I mean, I think we all do, but I would really have loved to have seen this. I mean, no Slater the whole year. That's kaput.
Yeah, but the guy stepped up. Whoever Jameer Salyer is stepping up big time in his absence.
Big time. No Keenan Allen. Like, we're talking about why Herb. Yeah, they're both out. Like, Keenan Allen's been out for weeks, and like since that's like as good as what
since week 1.
Yeah, and as good as Mike Will is, like, that's his like supposed to be his number one guy. So that's been a big disappointment. Obviously, the Broncos. Maybe it's the head coach and the offense. They just can't get in lockstep. I don't know. Chiefs rolling. Raiders, I'm with you. Their time will come. The Cardinals loss was bad. The Titans won. The Chargers is a tough game. And this Chiefs, like, they've had a tough game. Like, they've had a tough schedule. So a lot of good contending teams. All right, let's go to the NFC West. We'll keep it in the West where we're out. In this division, Super Bowl hangover, some heavy offensive questions. Allen Robinson, we thought he needed to be freed, but turns out he may not be the guy. Then you go to the Seahawks, are performing better. They just may have some defensive issues. But Geno Smith, like, whoa, we'll have to discuss that, I'm sure. Niners, Toss, you said a couple weeks ago that you'll think they'll win the division. I'm with you there, man. And then the Cardinals, I'm going to need some help on this one, fellas, because I don't necessarily know what to make of them. Let's talk biggest surprises, maybe answer a question or two that I threw out there. I know it was kind of a couple little spots in there. Toss, will start with you there. You're like second division. Or Nick, if you want to go.
I would just say that everything that I just mentioned about the Chargers, the 49ers are doing the opposite, right?
Okay.
Because they're dealing with just as many injuries, if not more,
Always.
than the Chargers.
Yeah, they just lost
Trent
Mosley for the
Williams
year.
gone. Now Emmanuel Mosley gone.
Kinlaw.
George Kittle has been in and out of the lineup. Obviously, Trey Lance, their starting quarterback, is down, and they're rolling with Jimmy G, who we know is a starting caliber quarterback. But even still, everything changed for them, and they're still managing to win football games and look like the best team in their division.
6 sacks this week, 7 sacks week before. I mean, you got a strong foundation there, and Bosa's not even fully healthy.
Yeah, and so much of that has to do with coaching, right? And Shanahan, what he's able to scheme, and Deebo Samuel, Nick, I know you love him.
Hasn't really even gotten going yet.
Yeah, but he's starting to get going, which is nice, and that's only going to be even more dangerous for defenses. But the Cardinals are an enigma. They're doing just enough for Cliff Kingsbury not to get fired right now, but I still don't trust him.
The Niners, I'm in on them. I think that they're going to win the division. I think the Rams are missing the playoffs this year. They are not looking good. They almost lost that Falcons game that we were at. They lost in bad fashion against the Cowboys to Cooper Rush. And look, I know Cooper Rush is 5-0 as a starter, but you can't drop a game like that if you're the Super Bowl champ. To the Niners, I mean, getting to the quarterback is the biggest thing. Pressure, making them uncomfortable, having a solid foundation. And, Nick Bosa, like I mentioned, has got a groin injury. Same as his brother Joey. I don't know what's going on with the Bosa family groins, but they should look into that. But yeah, I think the Niners are going to run away with this division.
Yeah,
Seahawks defense is just garbage. They can't
sucks.
Continue to do this.
Well, let me say this. I think the Niners, Shanahan is like continuously like one of the best. He just needs to win a ring. He's like one of the best coaches in the league. And DeMeco Ryans is like he should be a guy that's mentioned in head coaching searches, the defensive coordinator for the Niners. He's a great football player in his own right. We'll discuss this when we get back from this break or maybe touch upon it. But Geno Smith, like of all it's so interesting of like the Baker Mayfield, like all these guys getting their second chance, Jameis, him.
He's making the most of it. Him and Brissett.
Mariota, Mariota's always been good. I felt just always.
No, I'm just adding to the list of guys.
Oh,
I think if you were to rank the guys that are making the most of their opportunities, Geno is performing the best, but Brissett's managed the best just because their record is better.
Sure.
But I would say those two, and then Mariota.
Rush.
Yeah, but it's not really a second opportunity for Rush. This is more of like
first,
a coming out party.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll be back in just a hot second. Josh Fisher, Alexander Toscan, the Rocktopolis, DJ, Nikki, Snacks, Kreider.
NFC.
We'll go to the 20-second mark.
Let's go to NFC North.
Okay, cool. We'll go to the 20-second mark. Good call. And then we'll go to 25 minutes. We're back, baby. It's the charity stripe. Pitch your free throws because they're free. Josh Fisher, Alexander Tossman, the Rocktopolis, DJ, Nikki, Snacks, Kreider. Nick requested we go to the NFC North, so that is where we will go.
DJ made a request for once.
DJ made a request for once. Yeah, I don't take no request. NFC North with Nick's former favorite team, the Bears. Who's the team in this division? Is the Packers, the Vikings, the Lions? We thought maybe had something on offense. They got nothing really. It was maybe some fake news. The Bears, I was excited. I thought maybe could do something on offense. But nothing. They got defense.
I wanted to do this one quickly because this is such a boring division, in my opinion.
Ooh, wow.
That's honestly kind of why I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings are going to win this division. I really do. The Packers have been super suspect. It's pretty obvious that they don't have enough weapons, and their defense is not playing up to snuff. There's trouble in paradise, with Aaron Rodgers and that whole gang there. And really, there always is. He's always a distraction. The Vikings, they've got some firepower. They've got a good game manager in Kirk Cousins, and they've got a sound defense. Bears, you're not going to win many games with Justin Fields as your quarterback. They might as well hit the reset button now. And the Lions, who we thought had an amazing offense, got destroyed by your Patriots. Shut out OU style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, before I go to you, T, I want to say that who's more likely to draft a quarterback? And I guess I'll pose this to you, Toss. More likely to draft the quarterback, the Bears and the Lions next year. Couldn't the Bears, like you're Nick, you're is that what you're saying, that the Bears need a reset and go
They
get a new
should. I
center
just
ball?
don't know. I look at the end of the day, like it comes down to the GM and like putting his pride aside, and also just kind of like hitting the reset button on, you got to chalk that up to a loss that you drafted Justin Fields. Maybe go ahead and try to trade him. I really don't know what you do, but if it was me, I would try to go get someone else. Maybe not necessarily draft someone else, but maybe get one of these guys that we were just talking about that has a second chance, that's really playing well. Maybe light a fire under Justin Fields' booty behind. So,
well,
definitely get him some weapons.
I'll say this: the GM is for the Bears is Ryan Poles, and it's his first year, so he's got no. This isn't a guy necessarily. Would you hit the reset top?
We saw the Cardinals draft Kyler Murray, right, and trade away Josh Rosen the year after they took him. Yeah. It's not unheard of.
To me, them taking a quarterback this next year is the antithesis of what we preach on this show of not to do, because they're not ready. Collectively, they don't have enough on their roster, offensively, defensively. They need to build from the line and go from there. And Fields, we believe in his talent, at least Josh and I do. I think, Nick, you're probably a little bit more skeptical than we are, but Josh, you still have a nice piece of land on his island for sure.
I'm talking to some realtors. I'll say that.
Wow, you're shopping?
I'm just perusing the market. That's all. I'm with you that they're not ready.
To me, I think, and if I'm the Lions, I don't necessarily need to move on a quarterback yet either, because Goff he still has plenty of good football ahead of him. It's a guy that went to the Super Bowl. I know it was with the McVay-led offense, so obviously they can do a lot of different things there. But this offense has been able to do a lot of different things. I'm not worried that they got stymied in one game against the Pats. They're losing they're missing a lot of pieces on offense as well. Like, let's see what they look like when Jameson Williams, their rookie wide receiver they drafted in the first round, is healthy. Let's see what they look like with him and Swift and Hawkinson and Amon-Ra on the opposite side. Jamal Williams, a great, duo in the backfield.
Jay Reynolds,
and then one more really good defensive draft. Then let's see what the Lions look like. Like, I think that this team still has a lot to put together, but I don't want to fire sale Jared Goff and just get a young QB unless it's the right guy.
Besides this last week, he's been pretty good.
Yeah, no, he's been fine. I think then the Patriots have Bill is the ultimate defensive mind. So I'm with you. Let's skedaddle the NFC North and keep the train moving. The Steelers are a gong show. The Ravens look to be the best team. Toss, we kind of got in each other's face in the office today about the Bengals.
Oh, that was intense.
It was intense. And then the Browns are good. Brissett just, I think they'd be better with obviously Deshaun. What are your guys' takeaways from this division?
Well, the Browns probably should have beat the Chargers this week.
They probably should have beaten a couple teams, by the way, they lost to.
Right. The Chargers, I mean, Jacoby Brissett throws a late interception in the red zone, which was killer, the backbreaker. And then, of course, they miss a game-winning field goal as well. Mm-hmm. So they were very close to knocking off the Chargers. And like you mentioned, they've had some really close games in general. They lost to the Jets, right? That was a really close one.
Yep.
And Jacoby's just managing the game fine enough where when Deshaun gets back for that 11-game suspension, they're going to be in contention to take over that division, and they may even get a first-round bye in the playoffs.
You think they could win the AFC?
I think it's very plausible. The Chiefs play a lot of tough teams, as you mentioned.
Wow.
And the Browns, man, they've got a great defense, and they're running the ball really effectively, and they've got great weapons. Njoku, first of all, it looks completely revitalized. That was a guy that people were talking about.
You need to win the AFC. You need to be the first seed to get the bye. That'd be crazy.
I don't think they could win. I don't think they can win the AFC. I don't think they can get
Maybe
the
the 2
bye.
seed.
But on betonline.ag, they're plus 500 to win the AFC North right now. And I actually think that's a pretty solid value bet.
That's a good value bet. I like that.
The Bengals now currently have better odds than they do. And from what I've seen thus far in the season, although the Bengals, were in the Super Bowl last year, like the Browns look to be a better team, top to bottom, and have a head coach who, frankly, I think is better than Zach Taylor. Stefanski's a great head coach.
I guess
I
a
think
bye
that's
is a lot. I'm thinking of kind of the old playoff format where 2 teams got a
totally.
bye. Because that's usually how it used to be. Now there's only 1 team. I forget that.
Yeah.
But I do think they could lock up a 2 seed. The Chiefs are vulnerable. We think they're good. They are good, but they play a lot of tough teams. I think that there's going to be another competitive game against the Raiders. I think there's going to be another competitive game against the Chargers. Say what you will about the Broncos, but they might be able to figure it out along the road.
Sure.
I don't think this team's going to walk into the playoffs.
I think it's going to be tough. I think they have an extremely tough road. For me, I think that the Bengals have some head coaching questions. I think they kind of had a little bit of luck. They played some great football last year, but I think having the Raiders at home, getting to play the Titans, who were a joke of a 1 seed, and then that game where they came back against the Chiefs, plus having Lamar out for most of the season when the Ravens were winning the whole AFC, let alone the division. I think I still like the Ravens, and I have more faith in the Ravens defense shoring it up. But
I was gonna say I kind of like. There's always 1 or 2 teams that are good for the second half of the season to completely flip things defensively. Like that's what the Chiefs had been doing for the past 4 years, right? They always
do it all the time.
They started slow defensively, and then all of a sudden, the second half of the season, they're a top 5 defensive team going into the playoffs. Yeah. So the Ravens, they've got the guys, right? Like, I think they could do that, Josh. And then currently at BetOnline, they're minus 180 to win the division, and then at that point, it's basically a lock, given the football that Lamar's playing. And I think the more Dobbins gets worked back into the offense, the better they're going to look. And of course, Mark Andrews, they played without Bateman in this last game, and he's a crucial piece. Their one bummer for them is that Lamar's looking to throw the ball a lot more this year, but they really don't have good weapons depth on the outside. So those guys cannot afford to get hurt. I mean, Duvernay and Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews are essential to this team's success.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think they just always struggle with the depth in the wide receiver position. It's a shame, but I think that division is going to be very interesting going forward. We have a couple minutes here before we break once more, and I think we could just skim the fat off of the show and just say the AFC South sucks. Does anybody have anything to it stinks? You thought the NFC North was boring. How boring was that Jacksonville Jaguars Texans game? I would have rather rewatched the OU Texas game. And by the way, these people are
so boring that it should have been on Thursday Night Football, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, God, can the Broncos get off the prime time? I mean, dude, the Jaguars Texans game. I mean, for every person saying the Jaguars are a good team and a playoff team, flush your head in the toilet. Flush it.
They really just got lucky on one of those Chargers off weeks, one of those Charger games that they completely charge all the time. That's just what it was. That was the overreaction.
Who else did they clobbered? Someone else though. Who was it?
The Colts, right?
The Colts. They blanked them.
We're not a
guess what?
Yeah. The Titans are going to win that division.
Colts, they stink too. Texans, not that good, but hey, they beat the Jaguars. Yeah,
Titans have every opportunity to run away with it.
At least with the Tech, I actually like watching the Texans play though.
I love Cooks.
And that Damian Pierce guy.
Yeah, I like him too.
Good.
No, he's a baller.
Very good.
Certified baller. Baller, yo, we balling. Damian Pierce, we balling. All right, Josh Fisher, Alexander Tosby, Noctisopoulos, DJ Nicky Snacks Card. We'll finish up the divisions when we get back after this break. Don't go anywhere. So we'll go to 38-30. Back we are. Joshua Fisher, Alexander, Tossing the Rectosopoulos, DJ, Nicky, Snacks, Kreider. All right, let's go to the NFC South, which Matt Rule, kick rocks.
See ya.
See
We knew it
ya.
was happening. We called it.
Yeah, I mean, he had no time. He had like McGruber time.
Who do they play? Who do they play this coming week?
You want to make the bet? They play.
You think they're gonna win? Is that what you're saying?
They played the Rams at home.
You think they're gonna win?
Historically,
Take the points.
interim head coach normally fares pretty well after a coach just got fired.
Yeah, but I mean, the Rams looking to bounce back. I don't know. I don't think they're that great. I don't think either of the team's that great.
Yeah, I do think that their defense is good though.
The Rams?
No. Sorry, I think the Panthers' defense is good.
I was gonna say I don't think the Rams' defense is as good as everyone thinks they are.
No, I think the
No, I think
Panthers,
the Panthers
obviously needed to get rid of Matt Rule, but also Baker Mayfield. He might be. He's a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well,
He was the number 1 pick overall. It's tough.
guess what? Darnold bust too. They're both busts. Rosen in the
Yeah.
same draft class, bust. They couldn't figure it out. I mean, I think that
the Panthers are 11-point underdogs at the Rams.
yeah. I mean, they.
I mean,
stink.
has Baker been without a question to y'all the worst quarterback in the NFL this season? Because to me, he has been.
No, Russell Wilson is.
Matt Ryan. I mean, they all suck.
Matt Ryan's been really bad.
As bad as Russ has been, he's still been better than Baker.
They've all been garbage.
Justin Fields has been bad.
There's been some
He
bad
stinks.
quarterback play all across the board.
The one takeaway that I'm gonna say here from this division comes from the Bucs game. That roughing the passer call that they had on Tom Brady was the worst call I've ever seen. And you know what? I saw a very similar call on the Monday night game against the Chiefs on Derek Carr. The roughing the passer rule, we say it all the time, is so soft and needs to be reevaluated. I get protecting the quarterback. I get you can't go low. I get you can't drive them into the ground, but there are some plays where it's just impossible to tackle the quarterback.
Well, there was
They're
one
making
play
it
with-
so impossible.
There was one play with Kenny Pickett where he I forget who it was, went low on him and he shoved the guy, but that going low at his knees, like, okay, fine. Like, what is Chris Jones supposed to do? He just fell on, like, you can't control it. Like, you fall on top of the guy and he tried to get up as fast.
The man's almost 300 pounds. Like, his momentum is taking him down to the ground. Like, is he just supposed to levitate over Derek Carr? And then, look, the one against Tom Brady, they're not throwing that flag on anyone else not named Tom Brady.
Their call sucked. It was
terrible.
too. He's a good football
not to
player.
mention, like, I understand protecting the quarterbacks. They're obviously an incredibly valuable part of every franchise, but you have to protect the other players too, right? Like we're admonishing players for leading with their helmet, going helmet to helmet contact. What we're not looking at, and I think a lot of the players are speaking out, like Micah Parsons right after the game posted a photo of him basically getting his entire shoulder ripped on a holding call that didn't get called, of course, because he's an edge rusher, right?
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be heavy contact on every single play with them, and there is. But those are the type of plays. I mean, we saw earlier in the season, TJ Watt, torn pectoral, right? Like when a guy holds you on a play like that, and those are big, strong dudes, it can do some serious damage.
Why we always see guys off the edge that tear their pec, that tear their bicep, that tear their tricep, like the upper body extremity injuries happen so often because they're getting jerked around by big 300+ pound offensive linemen.
We have to protect.
Yeah.
You got to protect all the players, right? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not just the quarterback.
Yeah.
It's
the NFL also just trying to protect their stars and like the guys that sell the most jerseys. And Tom Brady, he's always going to get that call, which is unfortunate.
Let me ask you guys a question. Who do you go with, Dalton or Jameis?
Taysom Hill. No, I like what they were doing with Taysom Hill. I mean, obviously he's not your everyday quarterback, but what they did, switching Taysom in and out for Dalton, what OU wished they could have done against Texas. I loved it. So
I mean, that
continue
worked.
that, but I think you got to go with Jameis.
Yeah. How many games is that going to work though? Right.
All right.
Not every game, but you also don't. the volume of how often you do it is not going to always reflect that. It's not always going to be the same as that game. Like you got to pick and choose. All right, which defenses do we play against that have crappy containment and crappy run defense?
Yeah.
Dalton almost won the game in London. They missed a field goal, and he was good this week. I'm just saying, and Jameis has been subpar. I just want to throw that out there. All right,
before Crockett,
yeah,
Bones is back.
Yeah, and it's not great. Yeah, it's in his defense.
He's got
okay. Yeah, AFC East is. I mean, the division's been some surprising though. Like the Dolphins have had some quarterback issues. Obviously, Teddy Bridgewater already started in a 2 QB league, played 2 plays. That stunk. But they're 3-2. The Jets are 3-2. The Pats are 2-3. Their defense looks dynamite. Bailey Zappi's done enough. Ramondre Stevenson, that dude. Jacoby Myers is good, by the way. And then you have the best team in football, I think, in the Bills.
The Bills are sick.
They're
so good. The rumors that Christian McCaffrey is being looked at by the Bills, if they add Christian McCaffrey to that team, it's game over.
It would be ridiculous. Be bad for Diggs owners in fantasy, though. I'd say that. I'd be bummed if I owned it. I mean,
I don't even necessarily think that they're gonna, like, obviously in Carolina, they're running him to the ground. Like, remember a couple of years ago, he was like 99% of the offensive snaps. Christian McCaffrey's on the field. It's not gonna happen in Buffalo. They love rotating the running backs. They love spreading the ball out. That's honestly good for his career.
I honestly think it wouldn't even be that bad for Diggs owners. No worse than Gabriel Davis has already been. Like, he takes the downfield balls more than Stephon Diggs has been getting lately. But Stephon Diggs is he might be still the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy. If he's not, he's top 4. So
no, yeah. It's a lot. I mean, just
a high volume offense.
Yeah,
someone's
got to trade for McCaffrey. They should trade McCaffrey though, right? I know
I think they should.
What are you going to get? What do you get for him? What's his value?
A second rounder.
Not. I mean, what people in the office were saying firsts today? Someone said first. Like, what are you reefing on?
Look, if you're a desperate team that is good, maybe you consider a first rounder, but it's so ridiculous because look, we always say we're against running backs getting taken in the first round. That's the same thing, and especially a guy with a lot of injury history, you can't do that. Second round,
just draft Bijan. Just draft Bijan at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. Or Deuce Vaughn.
I wouldn't trade if I had multiple seconds, I'd be more easily parting with one. Like it needs to be like, okay, I'm winning this thing if I make this deal. And I'm looking across the league and like the Bucks have Leonard Fournette. The Packers have Dylan and Jones.
Yeah,
the Vikings are chilling. The Eagles are chilling. I mean, the Niners could maybe do it. The Niners, but yeah, he's been good.
Kind of been eaten.
Yeah, so like who?
They will get what's his name back at some point. Elijah Mitchell will come back.
Yeah, he'll be back. So, I mean, it's Bills.
I mean, that might be it, honestly.
Like Mostert ran well. Like
right? James Cook had a touchdown run. Like they just drafted a guy. Why do they need McCaffrey?
Why do they need to give up?
What about
a second rounder or a second and a third? What
about the Eagles? They've got a lot of running backs there, but no one's taken over as the number 1.
Sanders is good. Sanders is good.
He has 1 week where he's amazing, and he has 1 week where he does nothing.
But I think I think they like the weapons. Like they can run Gainwell out there, and he's a spellback who can catch passes. Like he's a scat back, and then they've got Scott who can do a little bit of everything. Like, and Jalen Hurts is a top 5 running back in the league when he tucks the ball. Like
they're 5-0. I think the Ravens are a sneaky team to watch, honestly, because Dobbins has like kind of been underwhelming.
Yeah, but they're easing him back into it. He was good last week.
He was solid. The Eagles are. I mean, the Eagles would be nuts too. Are they the best? Are they the best team in football? How do y'all feel about that division? That's the best division in football. Could you guys believe that?
NFC Beast.
I can honestly buy it. I'm really shocked with the Giants, obviously, but like I had the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl to start the season, and without Dak, they've been very impressive. And of course, the Eagles are undefeated. So, I mean, it's a really entertaining division, and it's good for football because that's obviously the most watched division around the league for the most part. You got huge markets across the board. And of course, we knew the Commanders were going to be tough, but they play competitive games.
Yeah. Everyone's except for the Commanders, whose defense is horrible, by the way. And that's, look, no Chase Young has been brutal, right? That's your guy. That's your franchise guy.
I got a team really quickly that I'm just thinking of that would take McCaffrey. I think the Rams would be because they're looking for whatever they can to spark that offense to help out, just to get the team going again. And Akers isn't the guy.
No, but how much draft capital do they have left? They've spent it all.
How much do you really need though to get McCaffrey?
I think our value of him is more realistic than like these guys. Like would you have traded? Maybe what would you have given for Hollywood Brown? Like a first? You would have done that?
No way.
Right? That's what I'm saying. So that's what we're dealing with, these kinds of people. The Giants defense is the Giants defense has been impressive. The Chiefs defense, I'm curious. I'm just looking at points allowed, and their defense has been suspect to say the least, Toss. But I think they'll, like you're saying, fall into form. The Giants defense has been impressive, man. Points allowed, they're top 10. Like the Niners, the Bills, the Cowboys. Interestingly enough, the Jaguars and the Broncos are in there, and the Bengals. But the Giants defense is good, man.
McKinney's a stud.
Do they do most improved in the NFL? Most improved players?
They must. Why?
I don't know if they do it like the NBA.
No, probably not. Like
Saquon definitely comeback player of the year. I think that's a lock. Unless he gets hurt again, he's been on fire. But if Daniel Jones wins enough games, he might win most improved.
Whether people think he's the quarterback of the future or not, which most people still think he's not, he is a competitor. Like that guy, he puts it all out there.
I go back and forth all week, every other week too.
Yeah, he runs and takes massive hits, which is just not a smart thing to do as a QB. But he gets up, and I'm like, oh my god, is that guy okay?
He's sneaky fast too.
He's huge.
He's thrown 3 touchdowns. I will say this in his defense: their receiving group, the worst.
Yeah, Odell should go
hands
back
down.
There.
Stinks. The Jets receiving group in New York, that's could be the best. Theirs, garbage.
I don't know about Tony could be the best.
Between those two teams, sorry for the Bills. New York.
Yeah. Garrett Wilson is miles ahead of any other player on their team, and Corey Davis would probably be the wide receiver 1 on the Giants right now. So
would be, and Elijah Moore as well.
Not to mention Breece Hall is a great basket.
Braxton Berrios, Breece Cake. Yeah, the Jets are kind of fun. All right, we'll be back in just a hot second. Josh Fisher, Alexander Toss Me the Rock, Sapos, DJ, Nikki Snacks Crider. Please, we're begging you, do not go anywhere. This one's 250, so we'll just go at the
last
top.
one.
Yeah. And then we're down skis.
Did we leave any out?
Skis. No, we're done.
We didn't leave out any divisions.
No, we're good. Nice. I love football. It's so good. Dude, the Pujols thing is blowing up on our Instagram. Go look at it when we're done with this. All right. Hook 'em horns. We're back. Charity stripe. Free throws. Hit them. They're free. Don't cost you nothing. We're going to cover basketball and football. I can't believe the NBA is here. I just don't feel like. Is anyone else not mentally ready for it? There's football has been such a beast to start the year. It's so content heavy to start the year that I'm ugh. And I feel like basketball just ended. I feel like I had no time off in basketball. And I always say the NBA never stops, but I really feel like the finals were just last week. Am I the only one that's like that?
They were.
I think the offseason drama. Sorry. I think the offseason drama was just so draining with the whole KD thing, and where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna go? And that just start the season already. I'm so sick and tired of where people want to end up, where they're gonna end up. Now the Draymond thing, like, I just want to see them play.
Interesting.
I'm just excited that it's October and we get the trifecta, right? It's NBA, it's NHL, it's MLB playoffs, it's NFL, and it's NCAA football.
Yeah, World Series time, baby.
Nick.
Don't say anything. Don't jinx
I'm
it.
not gonna touch the money. I won't do that to you. But yeah, I mean, so what did we say? October was the third best month. We said the best month.
We like April.
It is till your teams are like one's in a World Series hunt, the other is leading their division, and your college football team is in the college football playoff. Like,
we had a good week, boys.
Right now,
between the three of us, we had an awesome week of sports. The Padres won the wild card series. Our Longhorns shut out the Sooners. Josh, your Patriots shut out the Lions. My Chargers beat the Broncos, and Toss, your Cowboys beat the Rams. It's a perfect week for us.
And once NBA starts, all three of our teams are potential title contenders. Like
John Wall looks good.
Clippers, Celtics, Mavs. For those of you who don't know,
now you know.
Now you know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've the Clippers, if they stay healthy, are scary. That's what I want to say. All right, fans out there, drag both feet in bounds, swing on a full count, rip that puck, hit that putt, hit your PKs because they free, hit your free throws. Why, guys?
Because they're
free. Because they're free. We out you. We love you.